South Carolina has 187 miles of coastline, a national park with trees taller than a 16-story building, and the highest point in the entire state is free to stand on. One state. Beaches, low-country marshes, Blue Ridge foothills. Whether you've got nothing to spend or a real budget to put to work, South Carolina can handle all of it. I'm covering all 50 states, and this one caught me off guard. Most people think of Myrtle Beach and move on. This state has genuine depth, and the free tier here is actually worth talking about. Sassafras Mountain is South Carolina's highest point at 3,560 feet. There's a paved road up, a free parking lot near the summit, and a short walk to an observation tower with unobstructed views into North Carolina and Georgia. No permit, no fee, open from 1 hour before sunrise to 1 hour after sunset. In the upstate near Sunset, South Carolina. Most travelers heading to the Smokies have no idea it's there. Down on the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach's oceanfront boardwalk is 1.2 miles along the coast. Free access, open around the clock. The 14th Avenue Pier charges $1 to walk to the end. Garden City Pier is entirely free. The beach itself is public. You can spend the morning here for nothing. Near Beaufort, old Sheldon Church Ruins sit in a grove of live oaks draped with Spanish moss. Tall brick arches and columns from a church built between 1745 and 1753. Burned by the British, rebuilt, then burned again by Union troops in 1865. Free access, a small parking area across the road, and best visited late afternoon when the light comes through the arches at an angle. One of those places that makes a road trip feel worthwhile. In Charleston, the entire historic district is yours on foot. Rainbow Row, the Battery, Waterfront Park, the Pineapple Fountain along the Cooper River. It's one of the best free walking cities in America, and we have a dedicated Charleston video later this week. If you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button. I'm working through all 50 states from completely free to absolute luxury, and you'll want to be along for the ride. Over at theearnesttraveler.com, I've got a free ultimate adventure planner. Budget calculators, packing checklists, the whole thing. Links in the description. The complete travel guide for this video is down there too, with everything we cover in one spot. Stick around to the end. I'll tell you my single favorite pick from this whole video, the one I'd put at the top of my list if it were my trip. You thought free was good? South Carolina's budget tier opens with one of the best state park systems in the country, and its price to use? Standard admission across most South Carolina state parks is $8 per adult, $5 for South Carolina seniors 65 and older, $4 for kids ages 6 through 15, and free for kids under 5. That $8 gets you beach access, hiking trails, historic sites, and full facilities depending on which park you're at. Hunting Island State Park near Beaufort is the standout at this tier. It's a semi-wild barrier island, an undeveloped stretch of beach, a working 1875 lighthouse you can climb for $2 extra, and maritime forest trails with genuine solitude. Tent and RV campsites run $25 to $66 per night, depending on site type and season, with 100 sites total, all with water and electric hookups. 2-night minimum on most reservations, so plan for a long weekend. Myrtle Beach hotel rooms start around $54 per night in the off-season. October and November are the timing move. The ocean is still warm, the boardwalk thins out, and rates drop hard. Peak summer weekends. Oceanfront rooms run $100 to $200 per night. Shifting your trip to shoulder season saves real money. The SC All Park Passport is worth knowing about if you're hitting multiple parks. $99 for non-residents covers day-use admission to every South Carolina state park for a full year. More than 12 park visits and it pays for itself. It does not cover camping fees, so budget those separately. Near Columbia, chain hotels cluster around the Fort Jackson area and run about $70 to $80 per night. 25 minutes from Congaree National Park, which has no entry fee. That's a strong overnight pairing at the budget tier, and we cover Congaree in full in the next video this week. Edisto Beach State Park has tent sites starting at $25 per night, and beachfront sites from $60 per night. There's an accommodation option there we'll get to in the mid-range tier, so keep that one in mind. For food on a budget, find a coastal spot doing a low-country boil. Shrimp, corn, smoked sausage, and potatoes on a paper-covered table. Somewhere between $15 and $20 per person at a casual waterfront joint. It's the regional meal, And the informal spots on the coast do it better than anywhere with a tablecloth. Mid-range in South Carolina is essentially mid-range in Charleston, and Charleston rewards the investment. Peak season hotel rates in the historic district, March through May, when the azaleas are blooming and the temperatures are perfect, average around $288 per night. That sounds high until you remember your walking distance from the city's best food, free architecture that would cost $50 in a tour package elsewhere, and a neighborhood that genuinely slows you down. Hyatt Place, Charleston. Historic District offers chain-level consistency in a walkable location. The French Quarter Inn sits deeper in the heart of the old city for something with more character. Once you've paid for the room, most of the day's entertainment is free. That's the real advantage of staying in Charleston at this tier. For paid attractions at the mid-range level, Magnolia Plantation Gardens charges $32 for adults, $18 for teens 12 through 17, and $14 for kids 5 through 11. 6 miles of walking and biking trails, an elevated boardwalk through 13 acres of cypress swamp in the Audubon Swamp Garden, and a property continuously operated since the mid-1600s. Open daily 9 to 5, closed Christmas, the mid-range dining experience in Charleston centers on 2 dishes. She crab soup, creamy, made with blue crab, often finished with a pour of sherry at the table, is the city's signature. Shrimp and grits is the other. Hoogan's Porch on Queen Street has been doing both for decades, along with pimento cheese biscuits in a restored Victorian home. Reservations help on weekends. Inland, Hotel Trundle Columbia is one of the best mid-range finds in the state. Boutique Hotel on Main Street, $166 to $290 per night. Complimentary artisanal breakfast included. It's 25 minutes from Congaree National Park, free to enter, making it an excellent base for splitting time between the city and the park. The geography here makes the mid-range investment go further. South Carolina is compact enough that staying in Charleston gives you Hunting Island as a 90-minute day trip south, Congaree as a 2-hour drive north, and the Blue Ridge foothills reachable by afternoon. A 4-night stay can feel like a full state tour without ever spending more than 2 hours in the car. South Carolina's luxury tier anchors in Charleston, and the top of that tier is Wentworth Mansion. 21 rooms in a grand 19th century historic inn 2 blocks from the heart of the city. Rates start around $456 per night and run upward depending on the room and season. The circa 1886 restaurant is on site. Rooftop terrace and spa, complimentary cooked-to-order breakfast every morning, free parking in downtown Charleston. You're not just near the history, you're sleeping inside it. For the Lowcountry resort experience, Montage Palmetto Bluff in Bluffton covers 20,000 acres on the May River. Jack Nicklaus Golf, a private marina, equestrian facilities, and the full scale of a destination resort draped in live oaks and Spanish moss. One of the more complete resort properties on the East Coast. Over on Hilton Head, Sea Pines Resort is 5,000 oceanfront acres built around the Forbes 4-star rated inn at Harbortown, the one with the candy-striped lighthouse. Villas start at $162 per night with a 3-night minimum, which is accessible for the resort tier. For top-end dining, Fig Restaurant at 232 Meeting Street in Charleston holds a Michelin star earned over 2 decades of consistent excellence. Farm-to-table, focused seasonal menu, reservations necessary in spring and fall, and that pick I promised you, the one I'd put at the top of the list. The combination of Wentworth Mansion and the Charleston Historic District. 21 rooms, circa 1886 on-site, one of the best free walking cities in America right outside the door. The step up to Fig for dinner puts a cap on it that's hard to improve on. Are you a boardwalk free tier traveler? Or are you walking into Wentworth Mansion and ordering off the circa 1886 menu? Drop it in the comments. I want to know. And next up, we're going into Congaree National Park, where the trees are taller than a 16-story building and the campsite is completely free. See you there.